I mean, Pat, what are your thoughts on the new Steakhouse coming on October 1st? What are your thoughts on the Steakhouse? Yeah. Welcome, Walt Disney World fans, to yet another episode of the Notcast Season 2 kicking off. And we've got a episode about restaurants today. 2 new restaurants coming to the parks very shortly. Space 220 over at Epcot, and then over at the old Wave spot at the Contemporary right off the Magic Kingdom, we've got Steakhouse 71. Which one are you going to pick between the two? We'll ask the panel, who consists of this week Mrs. Becky Wells.
Hey, what's up?
Patrick Neistat.
What's up?
The Disney Cynic and now annual pass holder, Bobby Burchens.
Guess who's back again. Yeah. We're all back, yeah. Tell your friends. Nothing?
I wouldn't recommend doing that dance in public, but you just did it for all of our viewers here on YouTube. So,
thanks, all 37 of you. I appreciate it. Leave your comments below.
So, guys, 2 very different experiences, but ones that will have a decent cost to them. The most hyped of the 2, Space 220 over at Epcot, which I believe was announced 2016, 17.
It was 2010.
Forever.
Yeah, and it's finally.
1971.
I'll believe it when I see it. It's supposed to drop on September 20th, so we're within a week of that now. You still can't make a reservation though. We've got a menu, but you can't make a reservation.
But Disney doesn't have a menu on their website.
That's true. We had to get a menu
website because that makes sense.
Yeah, and then the fact that you can't make a reservation until opening day. So I'm still skeptical that we're actually going to get this restaurant on time, but it does exist. It's going to be a prefix menu for lunch and dinner. I believe $59 on the lunch and $79 for dinner is the prefix cost. And you can see the menu on your screen now of everything you can order. There are some upgrade items like adding lobster or doing a ribeye over at Space 220. But at those price points, expect to not walk out of there without dropping about $100 for an adult once you add in drinks and tips. So that's Space 220. And then on the other hand, quietly opening, they took out the Wave at the Contemporary, a fan favorite kind of. And then they're replacing it with something that we've seen at Disneyland, which the Disneyland iteration is Steakhouse 55, because 1955 is when that park opened. We're going to get Steakhouse 71 at Walt Disney World in the former Wave location. That menu is on your screen. That's going to be a pretty dope steakhouse. Doesn't look to be as pricey as Steak 220, but it's going to be an option nonetheless coming October 1st at Walt Disney World, and you can see that menu actually on the Walt Disney World app right now. So, my question to you guys is, out of those 2 options, where are you headed? Pat, I'll start with you. You've had a chance to look at both those restaurants.
Okay. So, to me, I'm going to Steakhouse 71. The menu looks more appealing to me. I feel like I'll be able to get a reservation to it. I feel like Space 220 is just going to probably be like a really hard place to get into. And the way they name the menu items, I don't know, it's kind of stupid, but that's just my opinion. But
oh no, it's not just yours. It's mine as well. Fuck the way they named all of that. That's ridiculous.
It's kind of stupid, but
Neptuna Tartar.
I think that it's probably going to be more about
Tang.
It's going to be more about the experience than the food. That's what I'm thinking. Because who does Disney operating Space 220?
No,
it's somebody else, right?
It's the same company that operates Maria and Enzo's Hideaway.
Yeah, it's probably Patina.
So they have a couple of Disney restaurants, but that doesn't mean
Bobby,
they're
you've been to
good.
You've been to one of the restaurants they operate.
The Hideaway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think of that?
I thought the food quality was okay. But
That's
we
all-
spent
that's right there.
$120 on a meal that was like 16 noodles with like half a cup of marinara sauce poured on it. It wasn't any sort of value whatsoever. I'm really disappointed in the whole menu over at Space 220. If I'm being honest, it feels like it's being a little bit exclusive, and it feels like they're really trying to appeal to the foodies of the world. And I mean, good on them, but Disney has been going down this path for the longest time, and it's not that like I'm expecting them to have a hot dog here or something like that. But there should be something that's a little bit more inclusive for somebody whose palate is exotic, especially particularly like mine. I don't have the most exotic palate in the world, so I'm really looking forward to something a little bit more plain, if that makes any sense. I don't know. And I'm also worried, let's be honest, about the atmosphere of this place too. There's no atmosphere there, that's for sure.
You're in space.
For somebody that is making fun of them for the
Love
puns, there
space.
you go dropping a pun right there. Like,
well, I mean, you know what? I'm trying to give them an example of what a good pun is, as opposed to a shitty one.
All you do is talk about space.
Starry calamari. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. It's not.
All you do is talk about space. So
surprised,
the atmosphere has to be
It's a
okay.
shame that Amanda's not here today to back us up on this.
The atmosphere was. There's no atmosphere outside. That's the point. Never mind.
it was the joke.
You've never been in there.
Yeah.
I get it. But, yeah.
That it was a pun, Pat.
I wasn't. I get it.
Cue whooshing sound for
As a
Overpass.
weather person, that
I was
was
just ignoring it. But go ahead.
Becky, if you have to pick between these two, I have a thought of what you're.
I'm sure you know exactly my answer. But what I wanted to ask, did any of you look at the lounge menu for Space 220?
Yes,
Because that's actually
I did.
on par with like Cruise Cup over at Yacht Club. Like, it's on par with everything in the area in terms of the types of foods, pretty much the cost except for the lobster roll. And mostly those names aren't weird. But so, I mean, it's like there's options there if you don't want to do anything but go drink and have
I didn't look at the lounge menu,
but if I'm going to go to this place,
Astro deviled eggs.
So, I think
everything. I mean, I'm just saying, there's some more regular-ish food.
Well, they
for
got
the
chicken on a
lounge,
waffle.
But, yeah, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
but even you, Becky, would have to admit that the lobster roll price is just out of this world. I mean, $34 for a lobster roll, that's just absolutely insane.
I heard
Out
what
of
you
this
said.
world.
All the world
And-
words. I heard you.
Tune into the Cynics on Disney podcast to hear all of Bobby's puns, an hour worth of them every week.
These are good jokes as opposed to the other ones, which are terrible.
All right. Well, so anyway,
they are puns. I will not call them good.
these are puns.
Becky. So I'm assuming that you're out on Space 220 if it's going up against Steakhouse 71.
Assuming by looking at the menu that Steakhouse 71 is going to have a similar food quality of like how Steakhouse 55 did it, which by the way is closing indefinitely, and that's weird and sad. But I loved the food there, and the prices are actually almost exactly the same, if not less than they were at 55, which is kind of cool. They're like great prices, and I would go there. I would go to the Contemporary for this.
Whoa!
Bring your clothes hanger.
Yeah, right.
Inside joke from a previous episode. Check the card. I'm with all of you. Yeah,
there's so many good options, and the cool part, I don't know what the inside. I know that they had a concept art released at some point for this, and I don't remember looking closely. But at 55, they had a lot of really cool, like kind of old timey Hollywood type decor. I don't know.
And I think it's going to be probably more catered towards the opening of maybe Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And
so
that's
what I'm saying. I hope that it's like themed similarly, but for where it is, because otherwise the name is trash. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it looks awesome. I wish it would have been open when I was there last week. I would have been there.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But, if you're going to open a Steakhouse 71, you're going to do it on the 50th, and that's the day that it's scheduled to open. So something that you can do if you can't get a park ticket is go eat at Steakhouse 71 on October 1st at the Contemporary, which was the second hotel that ever opened at Walt Disney World. Fun fact
I know
from
what the
one of
first
the bartenders.
Was.
It was the Polynesian.
I know.
By 15 minutes. Yeah. One of the bartenders actually at California Grill actually told me that a few years back, that it was because he was there. So he's been around the company since 1971. So I got that fun fact. 15 minutes.
Yes, but do you know where the Beatles died?
Somewhere in the Polynesian.
That is correct. Do you know where in the Polynesian?
No one cares. So moving on, I do want to defend Space 220 really quick. The reason they did the prefix menu at such a high price of $79 is because they don't want you to come in there and order a hamburger and leave, because they paid for that virtual reality experience with those screens where you're supposed to be floating in space from the International Space Station looking out. They paid for all that, and they got to make that money up. And
they paid
in
for
order
press
to do
releases
that,
for 16 years. They need to make their money back
so
on that.
they need to make their money
busy
up.
as hell too. So.
Oh yeah, so they got to make that up. So they're basically charging you to get in there. They're basically charging you $79 to walk in the door, and giving away $30 worth of food for it, and making their margins that way. So if I'm you, Mr. Listener, Mrs. Listener, go to the lounge, order off that menu. It looks a little bit more normally priced, besides the lobster roll, as Bobby mentioned, but. You can grab a quick bite, grab a drink, and bust out, and still see those cool screens and get the atmosphere. And if that's how you want to experience it, that's the way you should do
atmosphere?
Space 220. We're not going back to the puns.
Listen, I'm sorry. It just bothers me that I get it that they paid for the screens and all that stuff. That's wonderful.
Ambiance?
I'm not even going to go with that joke again. I promise you. I'm going with a different one this time. But in all honesty, it doesn't give any excuse to me to make those prices that astronomical. Just saying.
Folks, this is what we deal with on a weekly basis.
It's so bad it's good.
If you want to see more of that, listen to more of that. Bobby's podcast is linked in the description down below. Now, Steakhouse 71, guys, October 1st. We're all in agreement on that one. That looks to be pretty reasonably priced for what you get. Now, it's not in a theme park, but that also means it's cheaper because you don't have to buy a theme park ticket, and you're also right there next to a theme park. So if you want to walk over to the Magic Kingdom, you can do so. Pat, what are your thoughts on the new Steakhouse coming on October 1st? What are your thoughts on the Steakhouse? Yeah.
So that
zoned out.
That's the restaurant I would pick, but I already talked about it just a little bit ago. So
no, I know. I just didn't know if you had any specific thoughts on it.
No, the menu looks priced right. I mean, every entree is within the $30 to $40 range. So to me, that's if they put out good food like the Wave did, I would think that it's going to be a hot spot to eat.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm excited about a couple different things with Steakhouse 71. For one, breakfast. To be honest with you, I've said this many, many times on both here and on my podcast. It is tough to find good breakfast at Disney World. And the Wave was actually one of the few places that actually served really good breakfast. So I'm hoping that it's the exact same quality for breakfast. And there's a lot of dishes that are being advertised here that hopefully, they look up to par anyway. But also, even on the dinner menu here, I'm excited about the prime rib and the Yorkshire pudding. I'm excited about the different sizes and varieties of cuts of steak. Steve and I have had I guess, not so good dining experience with the Steakhouse at Disney. Yeah. I think that if we went to this one, we would have a substantially better time. So I agree. I had Yachtsman Steakhouse recently and found that to be absolutely delicious. So if it can hold to even that quality, I'm going to be thrilled with Steakhouse 71.
Becky, I know you already touched on it with the theming, but do you have anything specific you're looking into there that you're
Oh, I keep looking at
excited
the
about?
breakfast. I would eat the Waltz prime rib hash like for any of the meals. That looks amazing.
Yeah.
But I think they're smart to not overprice this, because what else is at that crap hole of a hotel but like California Grill, which is already super price. And then you know, if you go to Chef Mickey's, which you're stupid, but that's a shit ton of money.
Hey,
and
Mickey's
then
there.
Contempo Cafe, I'll pass every time. That's trash. So this is going to be amazing. And
Yeah, 'cause
it's
you go to
the
California-
only place to eat. So
This is going to be the
California
new
Grills.
Disney blogger, vlogger hangout
Yeah.
for a good meal, and it's going to be one of those underrated
Excellent.
places that you try to keep on the low.
It won't
Because
work,
this isn't really
but-
getting any pub, you know? So,
No, I don't have any qualms with California Grill. I'm just saying that if they had also made this really pricey, that would have made it a lot more difficult. I think,
Right.
For some people.
Because if you go to California Grill, that if you get a steak there, it's probably in the 50s. You know.
oh yeah.
So
And if you're going to the
Well, I mean,
Contemporary
you
or
actually
Philly
have some
Tower to stay
atmosphere at
there,
that restaurant.
you're already overpaying,
Oh,
so
my.
you don't want to.
With that said, this atmosphere is now is now going back to you, the listener. What are your thoughts on these two restaurants? Are you going to Steakhouse 71 or are you going to Space 220? You're going to try both. Let us know down in the comments below. Before you get there, stop at that thumbs up button and smash it to let YouTube know that you liked the video. It helps other people find our channel. And hit that subscribe button. It does help us out, and it's free. So please do that. For everybody here at Not Club 33, thanks for tuning in to episode number 1 of season 2. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned right here to our channel, and have a great day.